What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I've got my in the bag for 2024. It is that time of the season where it is too hot to film unless you play early in the morning, which isn't always possible. I'm a little starved for content, so doing another one of these bad boys, and y'all keep watching them, so I kind of just wait until it's too hot and I start running out of content. But anyways, this is what I'm bagging for 2024. Couple of changes, not very many, but let's get to it. Starting off in the top of this pound octo haul, I keep 6 putters up here. It's a little extreme, 5 is maybe better, but if you know me, you know I carry way too much plastic. Putting, I'm still putting with the Royal Medium bullets. I've got quite a stack of them, putting in the work, practice putting with them, so still sticking with those. Still bagging a first run Eternal Bullet. This thing has been in the bag for a while now. It's one of my most worn stamps. This thing gets a lot of love, a lot of abuse, but I like it quite a lot. This is more of my like neutral shapeable putter, like little forehand scrambles or neutral upshots. And K1 Berg, right? K1? Yeah, K1 Berg. Everyone knows this disc. I took it out of the bag for a little while, but it's back. I thought it was messing with my touch. Really good upshot control disc. Can't throw it too far. You know about the Berg. I don't need to say anything else about it. Another meme disc, the Glitch. I use this thing quite a lot for scramble shots, kind of like my Bullet, but also for like long putts that I need to shape it. Put a little ante on them. Where I'm worried about hyzering out early, I'll put the Glitch on ante and I'll just trust that it's gonna work that angle. This thing's a little warped, probably because I have too many putters up top. And then I bagged 2 zones. I've got my 4-Claw Z and then a newer pink Z. Basically this one's insurance, so if it's a risky shot, I don't throw this one because it's collectible. So this is my insurance zone, but I still really like this one. Hoping to ring up an ace with this one so I can sign and retire it. But yeah, so there's my 6 putters. Put those aside here. And then for the mids, it's a little wedged. Hard to pull 4 out at a time. Anyways, we'll start with the understable one first. Mint Lobster. Like this thing a lot. I've dabbled with the Soul or the Paradox in that same slot, but the Lobster is kind of settled in. I really like the grippiness of the Apex plastic. I like how it feels in the hand. And the Lobster is a consistently understable, but not like a dumpy understable. Like if I give it too much height, it'll actually fight back out. So I like that I don't have to worry about throwing a cut roller or something on like a big turnover or whatever. But yeah, Lobster is my favorite understable mid right now. Neutral mid, still going with the Hex. This is a new one for me, the one that's been in my bag for I think the last 2 years. Lost it at Gateway a couple weeks ago, so this is the replacement. This one doesn't have as much stability. This one will consistently just drift on ante, or if I throw it on hyzer, it'll kind of push flat. But yeah, Hex, really great neutral mid-range. It's kind of all the rage right now. Enough about that. And then in my overstable mid slot, I've got 2 discs that I thought were competing for the same slot, although recently this taco has flipped a couple times. It's not quite the wind fighter that the Bobcat is, at least not for me, even though this is an older first run, quite beat in. I still love my glow tacos in my night bag, but this is a beaded overstable mid-range from Mint, relatively new. I like it a lot, but it's not quite as beefy as I want it to be in this slot, so I might layer 2 Bobcats. Jury's still out on that. But yeah, Bobcat, beadless, very overstable, but like workable. It's not like a Mutant or a Pyro or something. Super workable, overstable mid-range. Again, that Apex plastic, I just love the feel of it. So there's my mid-range lineup right now. Fairway drivers. Start again on the understable side. Apex plastic again, Jackalope. It's It's basically a longer lobster for me. It's really shapeable. I can force it on Annie and it'll just turn the whole way, or I can even hyzer flip it to where it'll drift and still finish. So you get all 3 angles out of this one. One of my favorite discs right now. They just released the Glow Plastic, which might be one of my favorite discs, period. It's really torque resistant, so you can work it on those distance lines, but it'll still fight out. Really great disc. I like the Jackalope a lot. Next up in my fairways, another mint disc, the Grackle. This is going to be in that Instinct T-Bird slot. I was throwing the Instinct and the Athena. I completely ruined my Athena though. Drilled a brick wall. So the Grackle is what remains. Really consistent. I can throw it off power and it'll aggressively move to the left, or I can hammer it and it'll go nice and straight. More Apex plastic. Surprise, surprise. VPO Alpha. This one's kind of special because I won MA3 the year of this stamp. Alpha's a cool slot. It's like an 8401 or something like that. This one's a little more beat in, so I can get this one to turn and then it'll come back. And I normally layer a slightly more stable Alpha. I just lost mine at Bill Allen the other day, so I need to actually put another Alpha in. This is actually going to be the one. Eternal Alpha from the 5th run? Yeah, 5th run. That's what I just lost. It didn't have this really cool Gorilla stamp on it, so I'm kind of hyped to get this one in the bag. Slightly more stable version, you know, wind dependent, or if I need it to be a single angle shot, I may bump up to that Eternal. And then in my overstable utility driver slot, I've got 2 Phoenixes here. Similar to my Alpha layering, I've got a really overstable Eternal and a more workable Apex Swirl. I can actually forehand this one. I can't really forehand this one. This one flies like a tilt on forehand, or I can throw them both on thumbers. Really workable, good flare skips. I'm a big fan of the Phoenix. So that's my fairway drivers. And my like control drivers, we'll call it, in the middle here. Apex Longhorn, this 6th run, 4th run. I don't know why they haven't even had 6. Anyways, 4th run, Apex Longhorn. These ones are really glidey. These things bomb. It's kind of like a G-Star Wraith for me, because I throw a G-Star Wraith in like my water disc slot sometimes. Yeah, this thing goes. But it is kind of like a Wraith. That's what I compare it to customers a lot. Faster, but more understable. Get the stamp upside down, right side up, whatever. Freetail. This thing is pretty understable with a tailwind. This thing can bomb on anhyzer. I can trust that it's going to just hold that Annie line most of the flight as it pans out and unravels. This is probably my max distance understable disc. And then a little redundantly, Fission Wave. This thing doesn't have quite the understability of the Freetail, but this thing will go even further depending on what the wind is doing. Probably a little redundant carrying both, although also the Sublime plastic of this Freetail is the beefy Freetail, so you can get Apex or Eternal if you can't get the shape on these. Yeah, I like the more stable Freetails and the Wave. So those are my control drivers. And then in my distance slot, this is a bit of a mess right now. I've got 2 Zeuses, a time lapse, and 2 goats. So first up, these Zeuses. These have been in my bag for years as well. Big Z and a lightweight ESP. This thing is surprisingly stable for how lightweight it is, and because of that, it's one of my favorites. I know I can just hammer on it flat. It's not going to turn much, and it'll finish up nicely. This thing will go like 400, 430. Big fan. I recently threw it in the road though and got a nice little gouge in it, so kind of looking for a replacement for that, but it's still doing what it needs to do. And then Big Z Zeus, if I want that Zeus flight but I need a little less stability, maybe I've got a bit of a tailwind, Big Z Zeus. And then time lapse, gotta have a time lapse in the bag right now. This thing is really interesting. It's kind of beaten in to almost be between my two Zeuses. Still kind of figuring this one out, but it's got the 12, 12, 5, negative 1, 3. It's got those numbers that everyone's chasing in that slot. Probably won't stay in the bag forever, but I'm happy to know it. Just in case this Zeus gets flippy, this thing will slide into that slot really, really nicely. And then for my goats, I've got this one's been in my bag for a while now. First Run Apex, excuse me. This is the most overstable disc in my bag. I would liken it to some like Halo Calvins, at least from this run. It's my old trusty. I like this one a lot when I need it to fight the wind. And then I just started bagging this beauty. This one is kind of replacing another one I lost. The swirly plastic in this disc isn't as overstable as the First Runs, so it's a little more shapeable, a little more workable. This is kind of up in the running for this Zeus replacement if I can't find another Zeus that I like. And then also in the bag, keep some extras over here. And just bought this at the tournament the other day, Glow Bobcat. That'll go in my glow bag. And then kind of unique stability options. Glow Grackle, just a beefier grackle. This is not going to turn for me, so I'm a fan of that. And then Proto Glow Halo Big Drum Thunderbirds. This one is kind of between that like Alpha and Longhorn. It's more stability than the Longhorn, but it's faster and goes a little further than the Alphas. So I've been playing around with that one a little bit too. Loving it in the glow bag, but I've been tampering with it in my regular bag. And then a quick note on the pound haul. I like it. One, it holds so much stuff. I've got jerky in the scorecard pocket. I've got my rangefinder, my retriever pole in here, extra discs as you saw. And then on the haul pockets, I keep my water bottles in there. You can easily put 4 or 5 discs. But yeah, you get these little padded inserts. This is the one that actually came with this bag, hence it matching. Yeah, these are great. And that's what I'm throwing for 2024. Thanks for watching. Say hi if you see me out there. We'll see you next time.